Thankfully, finding a good doctor is easier than ever. It's called ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you're searching for. Go to ZocDoc.com/something and download the ZocDoc app for free. That's ZocDoc.com/something. ZocDoc.com/something.
Hi, I'm Steffany Strange. Want to hear something scary?
Japan's spooky holiday Obon Festival creeps up right in the heat of summer. They say you can beat the sizzle of those hot summer nights by cooling off with shivers down your spine. Lots of folks chase that icy thrill, wandering through the graveyards. But be warned, you might do more than cool down. You might actually be scared to death. The Obon Festival of the Spirits was coming to a close as the sun had set. The moon shone on Mika and the other teens as they performed a traditional dance to honor their ancestors, who were believed to return to visit their living relatives during this time. As they danced down the street lit up by the lanterns, their matching yukatas shimmered in the moonlight, catching the attention of the audience. When the parade ended, Mika's sister took her hand and said, "It's time to go home and celebrate with the family." But Mika shook her head. She had other plans. She told her sister to head home without her and to tell her parents that she would be home soon. Her sister was rather upset because she had wanted to spend more time with her and began to ask her one more time to come with her. But despite the protest, Mika was stern about having other plans. Alone now, Mika glanced around before she slipped off her yukata to reveal a cute, modern dress. She made her way over to a group of teens who were hanging out after the parade. She saw Ren, the hottest guy in school, and his two friends. In addition to their bad behavior, they were frequently suspended from school. Well, here you are, Ren grinned. I thought you weren't going to show. Mika's heart raced at his attention, but her expression turned to concern when Ren announced that they were heading to the graveyard to summon ghosts. Having celebrated Obon, the festival for spirits, on the same night, it was believed they should not disturb or offend the spirits in any way. She didn't like the idea, but she liked Ren more. She couldn't back down, otherwise, who knows when she would have the opportunity to show off to him. They arrived at the old, eerie graveyard. It was completely empty, no one else daring to offend the dead. As they walked around, they saw food and gifts left over by loved ones during the festival. Ren playfully climbed a tombstone and jumped from one to the other. Meanwhile, Mika gulped, knowing how disrespectful this was. Stay cool, she told herself. As if jumping around playfully wasn't bad enough, Ren suggested they carve their names into a headstone to leave their mark. Mika knew it was wrong, but she felt compelled to prove herself to Ren and the others. She cautiously took the pocket knife Ren whipped out, trying to etch her name as lightly as possible, thinking to herself, okay, maybe if I do this one thing, it won't be as bad to the spirits. And all of a sudden, a cold breeze surrounded them, and a creepy vibe took over the graveyard. A march of restless and annoyed spirits appeared, glowing with an eerie light. Panic struck Mika and the others, and they attempted to get out of there. But each time they managed to break free, they were dragged back into the graveyard by a supernatural force. While the angry spirits had Ren's body pinned to the ground, his two friends managed to get away, leaving Ren behind, screaming in fear. Mika knew she had to act fast as she hurried over to the gate. She had behaved terribly this far, and it wasn't like her. She let her need to impress Ren cloud her judgment. She reached to the edge of the gate, then turned back to try to rescue Ren. But the spirit's grip on him was too strong. She could do nothing as she watched him slowly being strangled. Desperation surged within her as she became overpowered and was slowly dragged by these invisible hands over towards Ren. Then, suddenly, in the distance, she saw her little sister outside the gates. "No!" Mika screamed, trying to warn her sister to stay away from the evil spirits. As if a guardian angel had heard her plea, her grandmother, her Sobo, appeared at the edge of the graveyard. Her Sobo was a wise woman deeply connected to and familiar with the ways of the afterlife. She calmly approached them and began chanting ancient incantations. The spirits let go of Mika for a moment, and she was able to escape. With tears in her eyes, she reached out to save Ren, but it was too late. The spirits had claimed him for their own. Mika's Sobo continued her ritual, soothing the enraged ancestors and allowing them to return to their resting place. The graveyard gradually fell silent, and soon the only sound that remained was Mika's sobs. Mika's sister had followed her that night, and when she saw the teens heading into the graveyard, she bolted to tell her Sobo that Mika needed her help. In the aftermath of the night, Mika found herself forever changed. She performed every year with her dance group in the Obon Festival, and as they swayed and twirled, they felt the presence of their ancestors watching over them, guiding their steps in an internal dance that bridged the gap between the living and the dead. Most would find this peaceful, but remember, what Mika saw and experienced was far from normal. She is still traumatized by the screams and horror on that awful night. She suddenly realized the value of the age-old traditions and rituals going forward, but she wished more than ever it did not come at the price with a human life.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes in life we're faced with tough choices, and the path forward isn't always clear. And for me, it's helpful to have a second opinion. I find that during my therapy sessions. I prefer to speak with someone that can work around my schedule and be available anytime, anywhere I am in the world. One of the best options I've found is BetterHelp. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just complete a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/scary today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/scary. BetterHelp.com/scary.
Thanks so much for listening. Like and share if this video gave you the chills. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. See you next time.